So South Korea has now successfully launched its largest satellite yet from its domestically developed space rocket Nuri. For more on this, we're joined today by Shin Dong-hyuk, assistant professor at the Department of Aerospace Engineering at the Korea Advanced Institute of Science and Technology. Professor Shin, thanks for joining us this morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So this was the fourth launch of the rocket, and it's being called a turning point in South Korea's space industry. What does the success of the latest launch mean for the country's space development?
So first of all, this is a three consecutive success, meaning that we are getting more confidence on rocket technology. And then secondly, as the report mentioned, it's been the assembly and the manufacturing was all done by the private company called Hana Aerospace. So this is a move to make the Nuri as a commercial rocket in the future. And then there are two aspects as well. So one is it was launched at nighttime, and then time window was very short, only 20 minutes. And then this requirement comes from the main customer, which is a next generation medium satellite 3. So in the end, Nuri rocket is a kind of delivery service, and then they have to meet the kind of requirement or the demand from the customer. And then so that Nuri is kind of accommodating those specific demand from the main customer. Also, there are 12 CubeSats, and in space industry, it's very important to have experience. And then so far, 12 university and companies are gaining experience from this launch.
I see. And Nuri lifted off with a payload this time that was twice as heavy as the one carried during its third launch back in 2023. And this was its first nighttime launch, right? What was the most crucial step Nuri had to complete for this launch to succeed?
So actually, Nuriho is designed to carry 1.5 tons of satellite. So far, Nuri still has a room to carry 500 kilogram more. But from a satellite perspective, heavy satellites are very expensive, and then they want to be carried by very reliable rockets. So now we can see the trend that the weight of satellite are increasing. Last time, the main satellite was around 100 kilograms. This time is around 500 kilograms. So more expensive satellite, they start to trust Nurio's capability. And then it was a night launch, and then also it was in late November. So actually the engineers had to fight with the dark and cold. So I saw many people was holding the hand warmer. So it can be another challenge. And then secondly, HANA's participation. So for example, Kari, they are developing rockets for almost 20 years. And then they have a lot of experience during that time. But HANA, they have to catch up all those things in 2 years, so last 2 years. So it'll be a very challenging task. And then I'm happy to see that they done it very well.
Right, and the main satellite was much heavier and much more expensive, as you mentioned. And it will be used to conduct research on a wide range of fields, right, including observing auroral activity and testing life science experiments in space. So how significant is this?
So actually, the next generation satellites 3, they are developed to conduct a scientific activity. And then, as you mentioned, the first one is auroral activity. So actually, it's related to space weather and then also sun's activity. So for example, I'm sure you will be using GPS. For example, I do use it a lot. And then one thing I really want from GPS is that they know my lane in a car so that they tell me which lane to change. But current GPS, they cannot do that because of the accuracy. So current GPS has around 10 meter of accuracy. But in order to kind of increase the accuracy, we need to know the space weather. And then the auroral observation can be a good indicator for the space weather. And then secondly, the life science experiments. So one of the very promising industry in space, it will be pharmaceutical development. So if you develop some medicine, in no gravity, and then they can create a unique protein out of them. So it can be a very promising industry in the future, and then we are kind of putting the first step on this.
I see. That's very interesting how the GPS development will be helpful, will make driving much more easier for a lot of people. So what's next for Korea's space development?
So there are two big plans ahead. So one is to upgrade Nuri. Of course, the name will be different. So probably there will be some competition to name the next generation rocket. So once we have the upgraded Nuri, so we can send a spacecraft to Moon. So at the same time, we also, the Korean government is also developing a spacecraft which land on Moon as well. And then if we are getting successful, so combining both of them, we will become the sixth country in doing that. And then there are many other activities as well.
I see. That sounds very exciting. We'll have to see how that goes. All right, Professor Shin, thank you so much for your insight this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you.